but actually making it an authentic community.
Yeah.
A genuine, authentic community.
And it starts with you.
It has to. Because collectively we wouldn't do it.
Welcome to Fireside Talks, where we help bring you from survival to stability.
Through skills, support, and the hope of Jesus Christ. Hi guys, so today we are continuing to work on kind of the health series for the month of January in our Fireside Talks. So we had a little bit of message about what the Bible says about health and kind of the whole New Year idea. Then last week, we spent some time talking about physical health. So this week, we're going to talk about mental health. So, thinking of mental health, why do you think mental health has always been kind of an issue that has either, I don't know if you'd say hard to talk about or just flat out avoided in church?
Gosh, I don't know why it's avoided in church so much. I think in the general public, I think that there's just a stigma around it that many people just feel like something's wrong with them. Mm-hmm. And that's not okay. That people are going to look at them different, that people are going to see that as a disability, that they're not going to allow them to do certain things, that they're not going to hold them up to the same esteem as they were prior to knowing that they might need help with their mental wellness. Sure.
And I think I taking it back to kind of like all them years on the ambulance and the fire department, like when I first started, it was just the job, right? Mm-hmm. You just dealt with it. It was just the job.
Right.
We didn't talk about it at all, and a lot has changed over the years that they recognize that we need to be. But I think maybe if we see it happening more and more in our emergency services and even in military circles and stuff like that, I would say it's probably time for the church to catch up.
Yeah. Well, and I wonder, and I do want to preface that neither of us are mental health experts.
Right.
I have some psychology background, but very little.
A long time ago.
Yeah. But with that, I have had a lot of studying. I've done a lot of studying and research through doing foster care and adoption and just trying to better the mental health of my children and myself. And so we just speak from that background.
Right. Just personal experiences, and stuff like
study.
that.
Yeah. No kind of professional training.
We are not counselors or psychologists or anything like that.
Not professional counselors.
Right. We don't have any degrees in any of that. Because I had to study counseling in Bible college. But
sure.
We're not.
So there's that kind of background. But
we're not any kind of licensed anything.
Right. So just to preface that.
Right.
But I also think that with mental health in the church being such a big stigma, people may feel like people think that they aren't trusting in God, that they aren't leaning on God enough, and that they're revealing by admitting that they have something wrong in their mental health, or that they need prayer, or they need help in some kind of place in their life. They may feel like they are admitting in a weakness in their faith.
Sure. So I'm supposed to be living in the joy of the Lord, and I have this anxiety, this depression, whatever it is.
Right.
Well, obviously my faith just isn't strong enough, and I can't show that to anyone. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember where I read it, or even when, for that matter. But Like, it's a crazy amount of pastors that are on anti-anxiety meds.
Yeah, because they have no one to turn to, no one to talk to, because they have to put up, it's expected that they put up this front in front
Right.
of their congregation that they are better, that they can do things better, that they are relying on God and they can grit through it. And whereas the rest of the congregation can come to the pastor for prayer and counseling, the pastor has no one.
Right. Right. So it's crazy. I mean, how many are taking something or receiving counseling or something like that. So, I mean, I think we're both aware of parts in Scripture where it talks about anxiety and maybe despair, stuff like that. Like I think about in Matthew where Jesus is saying, you know, look what God does for the sparrows, for the flowers in the field. You don't think he's going to take care of you?
Yeah. If he provides for them, how much more
Right.
would he provide for you?
Right. They don't sow or reap. So, you know, of course he's going to take care of you better than the sparrows or the flowers of the field. But how do you think faith and mental health support each other?
Well, I do think that in our faith, or within our mental health, that we should turn to God, and we should turn to our church. We should ask for prayer, ask for deliverance if needed, ask for prayer of healing as if that's what's needed. Like, we can't go through this life on our own. I think I said that in our last podcast. We can't do it on our own strength. We can't. We have to lean into the Spirit, and we have to rely on Him to get us through. And so that's where, when your mental health starts to go sour, that's where we need to turn and rely on God, rely on His Spirit, and turn toward our church for prayer and support. Because sometimes, especially when you're going through times of grief, and you know, we're all called to serve one another. Grief is multifaceted symptoms, multifaceted emotions, and God calls us as a congregation, us as the church, to serve each other. And so when we go to each other in our with our mental health needs, it allows the church to serve each other like we're called as well. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. So do you think then maybe when we think of these times of despair or anxiety or whatever that we're dealing with, and we say that we should turn to God, we should turn to the Holy Spirit, we should turn to Jesus, we should do all these things. But do you think sometimes maybe the community, our faith community that He's put around us, was exactly what His plan was?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like, you're not going to have some big revelation. It's going to be the community that God's put around you.
Relying on the people.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just as much relying on God is when you rely on the people He put in your lives. So thinking of kind of your background or our own experiences, we've kind of touched on it already. Do you think there's some kind of misconception about having this strong faith yet struggling with depression and anxiety? And
Oh, wait, say that again.
is there some kind of misconception about having a strong faith and still dealing with these things?
Well, yeah, because even Paul says he deals with anxiety.
Sure.
And he's prayed for, I don't know where it was. Do you know where it says it?
I'm kind of drawing a blank at the moment.
Okay, I will look it up and put it in the show notes. But he prays for this anxiety to go away. And basically his realization is that he needs to have it to remind him to turn back to the Lord.
Sure.
Like, so he's asked for this
the thorn in his side.
Yes, the thorn in his side to be taken away. But he needs that in order to remind him that he can't do it by himself. So sometimes in that way, we need to have this to remind us that we can't do it alone.
Right. No, I agree with that. So another thing, and you'll have to remind me, I feel like we just talked about the idea of I deserve this.
We talked a lot about it at the last podcast, just a tiny bit. But.
Right, but I feel like it's something we've talked about and how that's kind of a misconception that...
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want this to come off as like, I'm going to have that spa day because I deserve it. It's my mental health day.
Right.
Right. But has there been a time where you were like, nope, I have to deal with, I have to take this seriously.
Right.
My mental health, just as much as I do my physical health.
Right. So this is something that I struggle with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because as Christians, as humans, we're meant to have joy.
Sure.
We're meant to find joy in something and enjoy it. And like, I love painting,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so we were going through this whole process of how we need to have like a hobby so that we can just to clear our minds and to do something fun. Okay, so I'm struggling with this because as I'm studying, that is selfish of me.
Sure.
It's selfish of me that I need to have a hobby so that I can clear my mind.
Mm-hmm.
What I need to do is clear my mind and pray.
Mm-hmm.
And rely on the Lord. Like, those are the times that I need to set aside. Jesus absolutely set that example and his disciples of going aside and praying and filling up with the Lord, being alone to pray with the Lord. So he absolutely set up that example of needing that time by yourself to fill with the Word.
Right.
To fill with prayer. Not with painting, not with fishing, okay? Not that those things aren't wrong, because we are still called to find joy in things. So there's nothing wrong with having fun painting or fishing. There's nothing wrong with finding joy in that. But to say, I deserve that painting time, or I deserve that spa day because I need time alone to clear my mind for my mental health.
Sure.
That is not necessary, and that is not what the Bible depicts for us or calls us to do. We are called to be servants, and when we feel burnt out, to fill up on the Word, to fill up on the Holy Spirit, and lean into Him to get through.
Okay. So I guess you answered a lot of it. But when do you feel like that's something you actually started to take seriously?
At what point did I start taking it seriously?
Mm-hmm.
A month ago. This is something that I'm listening to other biblical podcasts. They have been doing apologetics on this, and there's a biblical counseling podcast that I listen to, and they talk about it from a biblical counseling point of view, about this mental health day, and that's where kind of my study came from. And turning back to the Bible, where should be the root? Like, that makes sense. Like, nowhere does it say, oh, you deserve to take time away. Oh, as a mom, you deserve to take that bubble bath with chocolates. Like, no. Like, if your kids want to do that for you, if your husband wants to do that for you and you enjoy that time, absolutely enjoy it. Take joy in that, but you don't deserve it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think you're going to make people mad.
Oh, sorry. I mean, if you want to debate it, I'm absolutely up for a debate, because this is something that I've been struggling with, but it biblically, it makes sense to me. So if you're going to argue with me, you better show me biblically where
Sure.
it is, and I'm willing to hear it.
Right. And I agree. I think God wants us to have these pleasurable experiences, whatever they are, whether it's the bath, the spa day, fishing, painting. I think God wants us to have these things in our life. But I don't think he's going to say you need to do this because you deserve it.
Right. Because he absolutely says, eat, drink, and be merry.
Right.
Like, we should be taking joy in his creation.
Right.
We should be enjoying it. We should, fellowshipping together and enjoying all those things.
Right. Right.
But enjoying it.
Because nobody would ever say that, and don't hear that I'm saying this is correct theology, because it's not. But nobody would ever say that Jesus died on the cross because I deserve to be saved.
Right.
Because if he did it because I deserve it, then there's no sacrifice.
Right.
So no one would ever say that. So why do we get to say we deserve all of these other things?
Right.
And I think we have the opportunity to do these things through grace. Right? Because, I don't believe God's going to be mad at us if we take a bath or go
Right.
fishing or whatever the case may be.
Right.
So, yeah, I do think there's kind of that fine line that we dance on.
Right.
Quite a bit.
Well, and there is, Jesus also set that example of taking his disciples away and interacting with just his disciples, where they're not bombarded with other people that need them, but they're learning and teaching together.
Right.
And so by having a men's group, like where you would go, so where you can confide in people, where you can learn from other Christian men, flipping the lid with women as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like to be able to needing that time for Christian fellowship where you could be filled up. I mean, you need that.
Mm-hmm.
You need that time to learn and fellowship and be able to take time to vent, to pour out, and to be poured into.
Sure.
I would say that would be that time away where you're being filled up with the Spirit.
Right. Right. Or you're leaning on the community that God put around you.
Right. So if you want to take a bunch of Christian men and go out fishing and say you need that, absolutely, you need that.
So we've kind of already talked about the idea that you absolutely can be very faithful, have deep trust in God, and still experience these anxieties, depressions, whatever
absolutely.
it is.
Full honesty, I'm going through some seasonal depression right now, and I don't want to leave my bed every day.
Sure.
I get up, I pray, I put oils on, I talk, I get moving, and I start to feel better.
Sure. So, how do we reconcile the people that are ashamed of maybe needing more help than what maybe their community can give or what prayer can give, where they actually need to speak with a professional or maybe receive medication? So what would you say to someone that feels ashamed about these things?
Don't be. Some people are further in their walk than others. I mean, we need to rely on other people. And if you don't have that Christian community around you to help support you, or if you don't have a Christian community around you that you trust and confiding in, turning to a biblical counselor is absolutely a route you should take. I mean, make sure they should be praying with you, and they should be, taking guidance from the Bible in every session. But I absolutely, you should not be ashamed of that.
Sure. I agree, whether it's therapy or medication or whatever it is. I guess in my head, though, that it seems we're in a culture today where people go to counseling and they just never stop. And I feel like that it needs to be a season.
Sure.
Like maybe I need to see this counselor or I need this medication. Maybe that season is a few years.
Sure, just to work through this situation to
Right.
help me be able to come into these feelings and be able to address them biblically on your own.
Right. Right, but I shouldn't. In my head, the way I kind of think about it is, go see that counselor, go get the medication, but if you need it, but you shouldn't, have a counselor fresh out of college and then be upset when they retire because you have to find a new one, right?
Right.
It's a season thing, and we should be able to work through it at some point.
Right. We should be able to build up that that prayer, that muscle, that reliance muscle on our own.
Right. Right. So you've mentioned the seasonal stuff right now, which I think is pretty normal. The days are short. In South Dakota, it feels like it's been winter for a decade.
It was just 2 weeks ago and our kids were out rollerblading, but
Yeah.
it's just like up and down.
Yeah, but it does. We're in a part of the country where it feels like winter lasts forever.
No sunshine.
Right. But do you have any? You've talked kind of about your morning routine. Would you say that's one of your spiritual practices that genuinely helps you with your mental health?
Yes, absolutely. Because yes, absolutely. Because knowing that I need to rely on God and that He's going to help me through the day helps me put my mind in a set that I don't have to face this day alone.
Sure.
That when the kids start getting lippy with me because they're going through the same thing, that I can take a deep breath and I can let His words flow from me instead of my snappy words, which I have to say that doesn't always happen, but I can step back and take a breath and apologize and move forward.
Sure. So I think in the practical sense, or maybe more in the biblical sense, very, very few people practice the Sabbath. And I would say that's something that we don't necessarily do a great job at, is practicing a Sabbath. And I think maybe we do aspects of it, but when I think of the Sabbath, and I'm not talking about the legalistic Sabbath that we see the Pharisees and Sadducees talking about, that you can't, where they got mad at Jesus for plucking a grain of wheat, right? I'm not talking about that type of strict Sabbath, but just kind of that day of rest. How much better do you think we would be overall if we did practice a Sabbath?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because that's, and I guess you think about, I deserve that spa day. Well, you don't deserve it, but you do need that time to fill with the Lord. And God told us to. He told us to obey the Sabbath, to take a day where we're not working, where we're not trying to get all this stuff done, and we're taking a day off.
Right.
I mean, He commanded us to do that, to rest and to get filled up.
Right. So, and I don't know, when I think of a Sabbath day or a day off, you might still do work, you might still mow the yard or wash the car or maybe do some of these little things that you've been putting off. But even when you just have those little days where you do, maybe I do a few things here, I do a few things there, and that's still a rest day. And I think that's important for us, to just have those days of rest. So we've talked about how churches don't do a great job addressing mental health. So what can churches do better?
I think the church as a whole, the congregation, we need to be saying, hey, how are you? But not oh, I'm fine. Yes, I'm fine, but I'm not. right?
Right.
Like, it shouldn't be that surface level, I'm fine, how are you? Like, we should be engaging in conversation and asking people, like, how was your dad? He was sick last week. You asked for prayer. How is he? How are you doing? Do you need to go see him? Like, how's work going? Like, you got a new job. Is it going well? Like,
Right.
how are you guys doing financially with the change of jobs? Like, asking questions to probe people, to really get to know people better, allows for the community where if something is wrong, they'll come to you.
Mm-hmm.
They'll ask for prayer, and allows you the opportunity to serve and support them like we're supposed to.
Sure.
So I think my answer to that question is to the church as a whole, congregation, getting to know each other better and being able to rely on each other better like we're supposed to in the Acts church.
Right. Because I would say in any foyer or hallway or fellowship hall in any church in America this weekend, somebody's going to say, hey, how you doing? And they're going to respond with,
I'm fine.
mm-hmm.
How are you?
And it's going to be a lie.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest lie told in churches.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
How do you think most churches would respond, or most Christians would respond if when someone is asked that question, they respond with, I'm not doing okay?
Oh. Okay. Well, I'll pray for you. I think that's what most people would respond.
Right? I agree. Or I think they'd be like, oh, okay. I think I hear my mom calling.
I don't think most people would say that, but I think that they say, oh, well, I'll pray for you.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than, when in response we could say, how can I pray for you? And pray for them right then and there. So it's not just a surface level, I'll pray for you, and you walk away and you forget. How can I pray for you? And sit down and pray for them right then and there. I do that in text messages too. I don't like that. I'm sorry, I'll pray for you. I'll pray for you. And in messages and things like that. And instead, I try and write out a prayer for them and send it to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am praying that prayer as I send it to them. And then they see that, and then they can pray that over themselves as well. And they know I'm actually praying for them.
Sure. So, and I would take it probably just a step further, and I think our very first response to somebody saying, I'm not okay, would probably need to be why. What's going on?
Sure. Yeah, and I guess my thought is that would develop from
Sure.
that conversation.
Sure. But I think that's just one of those important things that we don't get a lot of today. And I think that's what genuinely builds community. Mm-hmm. Is when you say, why? Why? What's going on? Mm-hmm. What do you need help with? So what about these people that are really, really easily upset or distracted when things are hard and it just doesn't get better overnight?
What about it?
What do we do for those people?
Well, and we continue to pray for them. I mean, and that's part of the whole grief thing that I was talking about earlier. Grief has many, 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 many levels, and it can last a long time. And so to continually be there for that person, is important. Because there are many things, like especially health problems. If people are going through health problems, I mean, it can last years and years.
Right.
I mean, we have a couple friends that are like that.
Mm-hmm.
That is just, and it can be hard for them, like knowing that they're constantly going through pain and the questioning of what is wrong with me.
Right.
And will I ever get better from this?
Right.
That it can be a lot, and it can be draining for them. And if we can just be supportive in any way possible, I mean, and if they are going through health problems, that is then leading to mental health problems. It's going to be hard for them to say, yeah, I'll come out for coffee, or yeah, well, let's get together, So to go over to them or to call them on a regular basis just so they know that someone's in their corner is important.
Yeah. So for somebody listening that recognizes that, hey, maybe this faith community I'm a part of, maybe I'm unsure how well as a community they would handle a mental health issue with someone, or how they would handle a mental health crisis within their community. If you had to give them one piece of advice for this Sunday, I'm going to make this community a better place when it comes to dealing with mental health, what do you think they could do?
I think just pushing your envelope a little bit and going up to someone and say, hey, how are you really doing? And don't tell me fine. How's it really going?
Right.
And I think really just sit down and have a real conversation with someone.
And it's one of those crazy buzzwords that I hate using, but actually making it an authentic community.
Yeah.
A genuine, authentic community.
And it starts with you.
It has to. Because collectively we wouldn't do it.
No.
But if one person does it, it's one of those domino effect things.
It's too easy to walk in the door and to sit down, do your prayer and penance, and walk out the door. Even if you actually serve.
Mm-hmm.
To walk in, go through worship practice, or go down with the kids and teach your little lesson that it's already pre-laid out for you. Say bye, love you, good job, kids were great, and walk out the door. And not really know anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's too easy. So it starts with you. To sit down and ask somebody, hey, how was your week? What did you do?
Okay, kind of on the same note, if there's somebody listening right now that feels alone in their struggle, what would you say to them?
Find a church. Find a church, find a community that you can get plugged into. Somebody that has a small group would be the best. Either a small church or someone that has a small group that you can get plugged into that have similar interests, that you can build those relationships.
Sure. I agree. It's find that community wherever it is.
Yeah. And it's huge to feel like you're needed, to feel like you're wanted, and to feel like people truly want to know how you are. But it's huge. And but it has to start with you. You have to reach out to people, and you can't we can't be selfish. We can't be, well, they're not reaching out to me, and so this just isn't the community for me. I promise someone in there wants someone to talk to them, but they don't have the gumption to come to you. So it has to start with you.
Right. All right. So I think that kind of wraps up a lot of our mental health stuff. Obviously, there's a bazillion things we didn't even touch on.
Sure. And I guess I do want to just give a glaze over. Like, there are many things you can do besides prayer to boost your mental health. Like, prayer should always be involved in that. But God made our bodies in a particular way so that to help boost our immune systems and boost our mood. And when we reminisce about happy moments, when we look through pictures, when we give hugs, when that gives off a certain hormone in our body that is going to make us feel happy. Even if you're reminiscing about your dead parents or grandparents and it makes you cry, that still is boosting that hormone in our body to make us feel better. And getting your heart rate up and exercising is huge for I'm going to get the hormones wrong, so I'm not even going to say them. It's huge for our mental health to just get our bodies moving. So if you feel any kind of depression, to just get your heart rate up, especially in the cold, it's so hard, to get your heart rate up and to exercise a little bit. That's huge for that mental health. To be out in the sunshine, to get that vitamin D and full spectrum light, that's huge. Our body absorbs all of that and metabolizes it and creates that hormone to make us happy. And so these spicy foods can also help make you happy. So if you can enjoy spicy foods, and so and I think maybe a lot of times spicy foods there creates a community like around spicy foods, and so but anyway, like those are all physiological things that God has put in our bodies that we can do to help boost our mood.
And well, on that topic, but kind of off. I remember reading an article at one time, and I can't remember who wrote it or where it was. But you get a lot of those same hormones, those happy hormones, from petting a dog.
Oh, yeah, petting the dogs. Well, and I said hugs. Dogs
Right.
would be included in that hug.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're kind of wrapping up the mental health stuff.
Yes.
I'd have to look at the calendar. We don't have another
I think
Monday in January, do we?
no. We don't. We do not. So we'll be going into February.
Right. So we'll be starting a whole new set of topics.
Yes. And we don't know what they are yet. Stay tuned.
Right. But we'll have a whole new set of topics for February. We kind of covered the health aspect. We've already done kind of a budget money one. So we'll see what we get into next month. Otherwise, I think we probably need to do a fireside update too at some point soon.
We got a few things kind of slowly moving.
Right.
So it's just not
Right.
like want to
And-
have more information.
Right back to that seasonal thing. It's kind of tough to do a bunch of land shopping and moving and stuff in January in South Dakota.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a tough time of year for that type of work.
Yeah. But if you're new, if you are new to our podcast, our very first podcast, we talk about what Fireside Community is and what our goals are. And so you can go back to episode number 1 and you can find out more about that as well. We also have our website and linked below where you can give to the community if you'd like. And you can also purchase our merch there.
Right. And as a reminder, we don't make any money off the merch. It all goes to the
100%
mission.
of the proceeds go to the
So,
community. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I guess we can let everybody go until we come back in February with a new set of topics.
Yep.
All right.
See you later.
Have
Bye.
a good one.